Hello everyone and welcome to a quick tutorial video, might not actually be that quick depending on how in depth we go, on how to use the Football Manager editor for the 2018 game. The editor doesn't generally change across any version of the game, so you can use this if you're playing FM17 or even perhaps next year with FM19. It's quite easy to get, but it is not too intuitive, so you do need help. Especially if you've never used it before, just setting up the things that you want to do. So what I'll do today is I'll show you the two kinds of editor that the game comes with, or that you can use with the game that are official products. And I'll show you the main things that people like to do with them and how you go about doing it in the full editor, which has a lot more capacity compared to the in-game editor. So to start with, I'll show you how you should download the full editor and the in-game editor for FM18. To get the in-game editor, it's a pretty easy process. All you need to do is go to Steam, go to the Football Manager page, click DLC, downloadable content. You do have to pay £3.99 for the in-game editor. But if you want the full editor, you get that included with your purchase of the game. And all you need to do is go to your library button, go down to Tools, and you'll see here that I've got all of the editors going back to 2012. You just click on it or double click on it and you can start downloading it. As you can see, I'm already running it, but it's completely free. You don't have to pay for this, you just need to learn how to use it, but it has a lot more functionality than the in-game editor. So either way, you get both of these just through Steam if you've bought FM through Steam, and they're really useful if you want to change some of the elements of the game. So what we'll do next is have a quick look at the in-game editor and some of the more popular things that you can do with the in-game editor. So once you've downloaded the in-game editor, all you need to do is load up a new save, or even an existing one. I think it will still show up in the top right of your screen. You might need to exit Football Manager and re-enter it if you've just downloaded it while the game was open to make it appear. But you'll see it's just located up here in the top right. When you start a new career and load the database, you need to make sure that you don't have the box ticked on the loading screen that says disable use of the in-game editor or prevent use of the in-game editor, because at no point from thereafter will you be able to use it anymore. So you need to make a decision very early on if you want to use the in-game editor in your career or not. If you have used it, it's right here in the top right. On the manager screen here, you can see there's very few kind of options actually enabled because I'm not managing a club, but I can easily move to another club or become a national manager. I can edit my own managerial details, personal details like my name, or I can become another nationality. If I want to move to another club, sometimes you have to type in the name a couple of times, but if we put in, for instance, Arsenal and try to press enter, it does actually show up. Sometimes it doesn't always show up first time. If you just reopen that bit up, it will come up. But if I choose to become manager of Arsenal, Arsene Wenger will finally be given the boot. And just like that, I'm now the manager of Arsenal. So there you go. It's very easy to use. When you're on a club such as Arsenal, if we go to the editor again, you can see I've still got the manager details up because I'm on the inbox. But if I go to the club screen, I can then edit the details of my club. So I can edit club details, its kit details, squad registration, things like that. I can also, if I click the edit club details, you can change a reputation, which has a maximum of 10,000, and it allows better quality players to be available to your team. So if I put it to 10,000, I could go and buy Messi. I think at 8,600 I probably couldn't. You can also increase your attendance to 150,000 if you like. But the one that you're probably after is the bank balance. You can change the balance to a maximum of 1 billion. If your club ticks over 1 billion, it will knock you down by quite a big way. So it's usually better to put in about 850 million rather than 1 billion. You can also change your wage budget, maximum of 5 million a week. And you can give yourself a Roman Abramovich style sugar daddy if you would like. You can also improve the facilities of the club and various other tabs along here, which I don't use very much. 20 is the maximum for all of these facilities, but you can also increase your capacity of your stadium to 150,000 if you like, and that would increase your gate receipts as well, so another source of income there. And generally that's it for the clubs. But if we go to the squad screen, you can then change things about your squad. So You can change the morale to superb if you want. If we change it up to perfect, everybody becomes totally happy at the club. Make them all perfectly familiar with whatever tactic is loaded up. Remove all bans, and more importantly on this screen, remove all injuries. And there you go. There is nothing that you can't fix in your team using the editor if you need to. You can also, if you click on an individual player, you can change their details. So you just click Start Editing, and then you can change all of Lacazette's abilities to 20. The important thing to note is that if you do that and don't do anything else, they will go back down, because the game caps them at a maximum ability of 200, but 200 doesn't give you 20 for everything. I think it probably will knock at least half of them down to about 15. So if you want to put them all up to 20, you also need to freeze attributes to keep them at 20, but you also will need to go into the player details, because you can see here current ability 157, potential ability 161. If you put this up to 200, then it will get knocked straight back down to 157, because potential ability has to be higher than current ability. But you'll also need to put that up to 200 to have full use of all of the attributes on the previous screen. So you've got to remember that things do interlink, and if something isn't working or keeps getting reset, it's because you haven't done something. It's not the fault of the game. And if you do have questions, let me know in the comments. I'll be happy to help with various different things, as long as it's not too complicated. A lot of this you will need to figure out yourself, or go to FM Scout, where they have guides and other useful information. So do the Sports Interactive forums. Forums are your best friend when it comes to editor questions, but generally that's the main sort of uses of the in-game editor. We'll go on now to the full game editor, which has a lot more functionality and allows you to do a lot more things, such as changing databases, league structures, just everything you can think of. So let's head there now. So here is the full game editor behind the scenes. It's a standalone app from Football Manager, so when you download the editor you also need to install a new shortcut or start menu option to be able to open up Editor 2018. The landing page looks like this. It will have the file which just tells you about the editor, but also that if you want to find out more about editing, the Editor's Hideaway on community.sigames.com is the best place to go. They'll have threads on how to do most of the most popular options, like switching leagues or clubs, and also will be able to answer any questions that you have. So if I can't answer them, they will be able to. It will also show you on the second option any existing changes you've already made. Sometimes you make them by accident and don't realize. You can just go here to check if you have made any unwanted changes, and then you've got the test competitions option, which when you make substantial changes to a database, you have to test the competitions. So when you change, for instance, which team is in which league, that affects the way the game interacts with itself in different functions. So you've always got to test that it works before you'll be able to use it in the game, but that's quite easy to do. You just click the create new test option, and then you've got the database, which is the main thing. So this is where you'll be able to make all of your changes that you're looking to do, and you can see down the bottom left here all of the different options. So you've got awards, you've got clubs, competitions, cities, currencies, derbies, injuries. It will take a while to figure out what goes where in here. So if we, for instance, start with clubs, which is probably where you will want to start to begin with, you just have to add a condition. So for instance, if we put in the name and go to Arsenal, the team that I was going to manage earlier, and then hit enter, up come all of the Arsenal options for clubs. So you'll see the Arsenal that I'm after isn't actually here. I have to scroll down until I can find it. Or you can filter by reputation, which will put the highest reputation team at the top. So I know that I want the Arsenal, which it has the highest reputation, and it comes straight to the top. So once you've clicked on it, you then just have to go down, click edit, and then you're on the club thing. So you'll see that it's add a new option here, showing that I'm in a subsection of the database, and that down the left I've got different options to change about Arsenal Football Club. So I can change their name from Arsenal to something else, their 6-letter name, their nicknames, which nation they're based in, the year founded, all of that sort of stuff. I think what a lot of people would want to change are possibly the ownership, depending if you're an Arsenal fan or not. You can change the stadium details, alternative stadiums if they have to go somewhere else for something, for a different thing, or if you want to build a new stadium and name it after you, you can do that as well. The finances screen is probably the main screen. You can change their balance, transfer budget, maximum wage allowed, remaining wage budget, sugar daddy, a lot of this stuff that we saw in the in-game editor. But you can also put a transfer embargo on them, which you can't do in the in-game editor. So if you hate Arsenal, you can just go here and put on the embargo. You can change the stadium rental, various other things. You can also go to their other income. So you've got all the options. So you can see that Arsenal get £174 million of general sponsorship income every year. Let's say that I want to add in some really cool TV money for them. I can change the name. Let's go for... I don't think TV money's here, so let's just go for total commercial income, and let's change that to 150 million. Change the start date to the 1st of July, which is the first date of the game, and I want to put the end date in as late as possible, which means that for the next 80 years, they will get £150 million a season. I could renew the income once this agreement comes to an end, and it's a fixed value, so they will be guaranteed £150 million every single year. And there you go, we've just created income for Arsenal. And given that the club finance is capped at £1 billion, if you want a continued amount of income for a club so that they are permanently rich and not just for a short period of time, this is the best way to do it, because you can put this up, I think, as high as about 999 whatever million. Let's try that. Yeah, so there you go. They can get £1 billion a year income, which will just always ensure that they have the most money. I think that would tip it over the £1 billion maximum amount, which they'd wipe a huge amount of your cash off if you actually did that. So be careful about how much money you give to a club. But you can see their kit sponsor income and their general sponsor income. Arsenal are loaded in this game already without the need to do all of this as well. So perhaps we want to fix that and we want to give them some debt. They've got 159 million. I imagine that's their stadium. Why not make it 800 million? Now they've paid as much as the FA did for Wembley. So you can change all kinds of different things in here, like their financial fair play records. So if you want to change the amount that they had in 2014 so that they will suffer a points deduction or whatever later on, you can do that. And then there's just various other things here that you can change as well, like the supporter profile. Maybe you want to change the loyalty down to 1 and the passion up to 20. Some people might make a comment about Arsenal TV there, but otherwise there are various other different options down here that you can explore on a club level. If you go back to the database, you can maybe have a look at other different things such as competitions. So if we add a competition here, name them as Premier, run the search, go for reputation, you can see English Premier Division has the highest reputation. We can click edit and then change details of the league. So perhaps we want to change the name, maximum pitch, so all that sort of stuff. If we go to the teams, you can see the teams that are in here. Let's say we want to add in name contains Barcelona. Then we can just click on Barcelona, click OK, and Barcelona are now in the Premier League. This is where you start to encounter problems and you need to be careful. I've just added a 21st team to the Premier League and removed one from La Liga. So La Liga now only has 19 teams, the Premier League has 21. The game will not run. Both of these leagues will be greyed out when you try to load up a new database. You have to ensure there is always that balance. So if, for instance, we wanted to shift Arsenal to La Liga, we can click edit, go to their details, or where's their league details? I think we need to go into the La Liga competition. So let's do that. Let's go to Liga. No, I don't think that's right. I need to remember the name of the Spanish league. There we go, Spanish First Division. If we click edit and again drop down to their teams, we can add in a team. Let's add in Arsenal and sort them by reputation again. There they are. Click OK. And now there are 20 teams in the Liga, 20 teams in the Premier League. We are all done. click on the database changes, you can see the changes are right there. So everything is fine. So we changed Arsenal's club details to give them all that debt and all that money. We shifted a team into the Premier League and one into the Spanish League. And if we click then the test competitions, we can then create a new test. And you need to pick which league you want to add in. So we've affected 2 leagues, which means that if we go to the name, type in Premier, again sort by reputation, click on the Premier League, click OK, you can add in the Premier League. And then we also need to add in the Spanish First Division. If we do that, there they are. Click OK again. Test date there is for 1 year. If we run to date, then it will run the competition. This could take a short amount of time or a very long amount of time, depending on how much you've interfered with the database. But you can see it's just running the competitions here, and it will let you know if it worked or not. So the competition has been run. I think it's all absolutely fine as far as I can tell, which means that I can now go File and save the editor data as. Here you can put in whatever you want to put in, so you can see that I gave Boston United £1 billion. I did that through the full editor, but if you do it this way, you just put in a new title, so swap Arsenal Barcelona, and then you can publish it to the Steam Workshop. You just click that, or maybe you just want to make it hidden, which whatever you want to do, you click save and it will be loaded there for you. So that's all it takes to change something as drastic as switching which team is in which league. It's quite easy to do when you understand it. TV money one is the famous one. People always want to change TV money. That is the hardest thing to change. It's a lot more complicated than everything that's gone before. So if you've struggled with anything up to now, this is where you should turn off. If you are interested in doing more, this is how you do it. So the first thing you need to do is decide what you want to change. So for instance, let's say we want to change TV money specifically for the Premier League, or we want to change something quite detailed and similar to that, but for the Premier League. What you have to do is click the rules button up here, and you need to add nation rules. This will give you this screen. You need to click the Add Lower Divisions and Cups to Existing Structure. That's a misleading name for what we're about to do. Ignore what that actually says. Then you need to find the nation. You go to Current Nations and you go to England, because that's where the Premier League is. You click Finish. That will add nation rules for England, where you can change little things like the divisions and cups and stuff like that if you want to. But what you need to do then is go back to the rules option, and you want to convert to advanced rules. This will give you a little warning saying you're about to do something incredibly complicated and it could mess up any work you've done up to now. So make sure you save your edited data before you go into this if you have already changed things. You click the yes button and it essentially gives you a whole new drop down list for England. So we're in the advanced rules section up here, and as you can see, it gives you England, and then it gives you all of the different leagues in England listed below. So we want to focus on the Premier League. Let's click on the Premier League. We can then click on the competition, and we can change different things to do with the competition if we want to. There's all sorts of different options there. A lot of them grayed out. You can change the stages. You can change the average points, qualified teams, different things like that, which registered teams are in it. Just lots of different things. The one you're after is initial TV money. As you can see, each club gets £87 million regardless of anything else. So you can change different aspects of this. That's obviously the league that we want to work on. But we could maybe pay it out in Canadian dollars. That'd be interesting for the Premier League, but you can also add different options. So that if we click the add button, it just gives us another option for adding more and more cash in. So there are different ways that you can do things. There's a last position there as well. Then you've got the final ranking money. So teams in the Premier League don't get final ranking money, I don't think. They get what do they get? They get prize money, which is a different thing to the initial TV money and the final ranking money. So, but if you do want to add this in, you just click add. Each option that you add in will add in a new position. So if we click it again each time, let's say that we want to give top spot £1 million, but to make the league more fair, we want to give the bottom position £300 million or something silly like that. That's all it takes. You just have to click it like that. It's defaulted to £200 million, but then you get this option at the bottom where you can change the ranking. The position a team finishes 0 to 50. So for the £200 million, we want to put 20th place in, and for the £100,000, we want to put in first place, or I think that's actually, you need to click this little tick here, ranking first, and there you go. That is position based money for where a team finishes in the league. So those are the two TV money options if you do want to play with them. There's various other things such as stadiums requirements, league fixtures, alternative dates. You can change fixture dates. There is a lot of stuff in here, and honestly all you need to know is how to access this screen, because once you get in there you can just dig deep, play around, find what you want to do and start changing it. But if you want to change TV money, that's the easy way to do it. You can also switch leagues in their rankings if you want to do that. There is just so much that you can do. Now if you want to learn how to do all of this stuff, the easiest place to go is the Editor's Hideaway. There's a really good thread in there which I'll load up in just a second that shows you how to do all of the advanced rules stuff and various different things. Obviously when you do advanced rules you do then need to run the test again that we ran before. Advanced rules are really difficult. I don't think they'll even let you save the editor data until you've run a test to prove that it works. And it does take time to figure it out. If you've got questions, you can let me know down in the comments, but the Editor's Hideaway is the best place to go. And once you're there, this is what it looks like. This is the thread that you want to find. It's in the Football Manager Gain Help Forums Editor's Hideaway, useful tips and threads for new editors. It's a sticky topic right at the top, and it just gives you everything you need to know. A guy called King Robbo did this. It's got access in the advanced rules for competitions, lots of different things that people have learnt using the editor on how to do it. And it's just really, really helpful. So head over there, have a read of that, ask questions. You'll find people have almost always asked whatever question you're about to ask. So just head there if you do have problems or want to figure out how to do something. So that is it for the example of the editor. You can see my wonderful manager here on the right. When you want to load the editor data, all you need to do is click a new career. Once you've saved the editor data, it will automatically want to load it, and all you need to do is click to the top right, and it will show that, for instance, my £1 billion Boston editor data is already enabled because that was the last career that I loaded up to do that experiment. And all you need to do is tick or untick it. Obviously you don't want conflicting things running. When you have editor data selected, you can't just load up the default one, which looks like this. But if you do want to use it, you need to set up your own database through advanced setup. You can't quick start. But that is all you have to do to get it working. You can't retroactively edit a database, so you can't load up a database and then expect the edits to work. It doesn't work like that. You have to do it at the start. But that's pretty much it for how to use the FM in-game editor. I know it's an awful lot to take in. It's not easy. Definitely ask questions in the comments if you've got them. I hope you found it helpful. I was also remembering some of this as I was going through it, so apologies if there's bits of learning curves in there, but do drop a like on the video if you found this helpful. Subscribe to the channel as well if you want to see more information about how to use the editor, or the experiments that I do that have examples of the editor, and follow me on Twitter. You'll get a quicker reply on Twitter if you at me there rather than you would if you put in the comments on YouTube, because I check my Twitter a bit more often, so don't be afraid to ask questions over there as well. But until next time, see ya.